Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Ral, and this week I want to feature a kit review of one of the latest kits that is pretty exciting, and I got excited about it because I really like it. And as you can tell, I built a few of these, and well, this one's really an older build, but I'll get into those a little bit. And then the new Dom's Fast and the Furious 71 GTX, and where the tooling came from and how far back it actually goes. You may or may not know, this kit actually shares the tooling, and it's not all new, and it comes from a lot of the parts are this kit, but if you've ever seen the original version, is from 1984. This is the 71 Plymouth Satellite monogram box, and that's the only way it was issued, and the only time it was issued like this. And here's a built-up based on that kit, which 90% of this is that kit. There's a couple of little things, and it progressed. Now in about 94 the 71 GTX came out, which is what this box is. That's the original issue, 94, and it was reissued 3 more times after that, and I'll show you the contents and the changes between those kits, and then going into that kit what changed, and a couple of tips and options to help make them just a little bit better. There are a couple of resin kits and a resin grill. So this is a 71 Satellite kit that I built right from that kit, and very little modifications done to it. The decals are from Keith Marks, and I added a few things. There's a couple parts that it didn't come with. This firewall piece is actually in this kit, but it's not in the original kit. I'll show you that. There's the engine that came in the kit, and pretty simple. And this hood is the original hood, came in that kit. So many think that this hood is a new tool for that. It's not. It actually, the original issue came with this kit, which is right there. That hood came with it, and then the hood was changed into the air grabber hood. After the air grabber hood was added, you never saw the hood in that one, but it reappeared in this one. And then this is the GTX. This is actually a molded in yellow 1994 issue that I built when the kit first came out. Mostly, I did tear it apart, clean it up, but it's not my best work. But well, I shouldn't say it's not my best work. It's not up to my current standards, but originally I had painted the chrome on it, and then I had cleaned it off and refoiled it, so the bare metal foil was added. But the kit itself is my original build from back then, and if you can see the mold lines, they're still on there. I didn't really sand them, I just painted it. But it was one of the last kits I built before I moved out of my mom's house, and but I'll say it was my best work at that time. So I don't want to say it's not my best work. For how old this is my best work. But I'll get more into showing you these. I haven't featured either one of these on my channel, but I'll get into the contents on this and compare it to the other ones. So give me a second to clean this off and set the camera up a little bit better for doing that. So stay tuned. Okay, so here's the 71 Satellite from Monogram as it was issued. Notice a few things. If you really know these cars, this hood was not available on the Satellite. And all intents, it kind of points at a few different things, that this originally was going to be a roadrunner, but whatever happened, or whatever the issue is, and I think it had licensing, and that's the big speculation, is that they couldn't call it a roadrunner. They didn't have the rights to call it a roadrunner. Warner Brothers owns the rights to that name, but they probably were able to get all the rights through Mopar, but other than that. So here's a look at the box, and this is, 71 Satellite. And then shows the details of the build there, and the decals there. So, and then a shot of the side and the back. It talks about being a big inch car, and so a lot of this is pertaining to pretty much the Roadrunner, but I believe you could get the 383 in the Satellite. Hood opens to show the big inch Mopar V8 and TorqueFlite automatic transmission, and that you could paint it to match the box, even though it's molded in black. And then a shot of the end cap here. Now this one, it's not, it's an unbuilt kit, but it's really not mint. There's the 71 Satellite directions. So pretty straightforward, typical monogram kit of the time and detail. but a great kit. And then simple chassis and directions. But and then I just point out there's no spoiler, and I want to get to that here in a second. But we'll get right to the body, and here's the decals, which you notice the white strobe stripe, the 440 emblems that go on the hood, and then the strobes. The 440 was not available in the Roadrunner or the Satellite in 71, but it was available in the GTX. So it's kind of funny that it says 440 right there, but the motor is not exactly stock. But from since the chrome tree is right here on the top, we'll pull this out first. So here's the chrome tree, and you can see the chrome air cleaner, which is not a stock air cleaner. It's got a carburetor right there, which is more like the Carter AVS carburetor, which would be correct for 71, and the automatic shifter, the mirrors, and then whatever that actually is, I'm not really sure. I think that's the emblem. Yeah, that's the emblem that goes in into the body. The rear bumper, the front bumper. The front bumper has no emblem in it. And then the wheels. I had one wheel fall off, but it's in the bag here. But it's mostly unchanged from that. So that tree. Here's the body, which let me take the chassis and tub out of it. So this body, it's got 71 marker lights, no rocker moldings, and no moldings or emblems on the body, and no wheel opening moldings too, and no provisions for the spoiler. But what I think is very interesting, you flip the body over, and the holes are there to drill out to add a spoiler. But this kit doesn't come with a spoiler, so it tells me right there that back in 1984 when they tooled this up, one was planned. There's no chin spoilers. Those didn't appear until the GTX. And then your really simple, smooth firewall. And the fairly decent detail. It's really not bad. And these build up pretty nicely, as you can see right there. So there's the body. Here's the interior tub. Now this interior tub was only issued in this kit. And it has completely different engraving for the door cards. The rest of it is pretty much the same. Console, the seats. But the door cards are unique, and I believe they are correct for Satellite and Roadrunner, but not the GTX. The GTX had more upscale interior. So there's the interior tub. And of course, the typical for a monogram of the time, the real simple chassis, but no molded in exhaust, and pretty simple. There are times I like it like that. So this is where the trees were cut up a little bit. One of the bucket seats, the glass, which was good for its time. Here's that hood I was telling you about, which it has some real mild, it's kind of weird because they're kind of look like ejector pin marks right here on the hood. I think you can kind of see it. So they're kind of faint on the hood, and they're right where the hood pins would be. So I think originally it had hood pins, and then they took it off in the tooling before they issued the kit, like they modified it, but I don't really know. Underside of the hood. And here's just some of the engine parts. Power steering pump, belts, mirrors, which I believe these sport mirrors were not available on a Satellite. Maybe the Satellite Sebring Sport, but those were available on the Roadrunner. So another hint that this was going to be a Roadrunner. Your molded in exhaust, your dash, which this is the only year this dash actually appeared. It's almost exactly the same. The only hint is there is no emblem here. The later kits have the GTX emblem right here, but this one does not have the emblem. So there's another hint. There's the 440 383 big block with automatic tranny, and one head. The other head's in there. The other half. The suspension, which you're probably all familiar with. The exhaust manifolds. So it's all pretty decent big block stuff. Here's something. There's the 4-barrel intake that came in this kit. Now it's a single plane, more like an Edelbrock Torker style intake, which is not factory stock correct, but that's what was in the kit. So it had this and the aftermarket air cleaner, but no headers, stock manifolds. And another hint of the Roadrunner underpinnings, it actually has the Roadrunner steering wheel, which is only in this kit. It does not reappear after this issue. But it's pretty cool. It has the Roadrunner steering wheel. And then your typical tires, which have the molded in. These are exactly like what I got built here. So all the rest of this, if you're familiar with this kit, the rear valance panel with the exhaust cut out, and then the front valance panel. These parts are unchanged and in all of the rest of the kits. But this is the kit from 1984, and it is what I used to build this one right here, like I mentioned. Now I mentioned the decals that I upgraded, they're from Keith Marks, and then a few parts that came from the GTX kit, and it's real nice. But one thing that's missing for the Roadrunner is that emblem right there. Now I added that. Now Greg Wann from Holy Grail Resins, he actually produces that. So here's the grill he produces right here. It's got that emblem on it, which I believe I got it, yep, upside down. There you go. And I cut it away. This actually came from a Danbury Mint die-cast car. If I can get it right up there and you can see it. And I believe he's selling these for $4 plus shipping each. Pretty nice. I'll put a link to his email below and his Facebook page to get a hold of him. But he's selling this, and it works really well on the MPC version also. So there's some options there. And just a few little tweaks that I did on this one to just enhance it just a little bit. Even though I built this long ago, and then it came out with this, and I had to get it and stick it on the nose there because it didn't have it for the longest time. Oh, one other small thing on the body. There's nothing in here, and it has that chrome bezel that goes in there, but there's no emblem here. And then that changed in the later kits. So I'll pause here for a second. I'll grab one of the other kits, the next kit, and we'll get into that, and I'll show you the changes that were made to the tooling. Well, continuing on with this one, this is the next version after it was retooled from the satellite kit into the 71 Plymouth GTX. Now that kit was from 84, so this jumped into 95, so 11 years later. Monogram and Revell, under the Revell name here, they decided to retool it a little bit and issue it as this. So here we are with this is the 1995 issue, the first issue of this. It's molded in yellow. Now it's been reissued 4 times from this, all the way back to 2012, 2013, 2012 was the last time we've seen this one. But all 4 versions I know of are pretty much the same, other than decals. But here it talks about the 71 GTX. Last year for the GTX, a separate model with a 446 6-pack setup and 385 horse, air grabber hood scoop, front spoilers and rear wing, complete GTX. That's pretty much all of the updates they did to this. They added all those parts which were not in the original kit. Then a box of the shot of the side here, and then this side here where you can see the engine and the air grabber setup and the wing. But that's this, and of course, you know, the build-up I did build this one completely box stock. So there's no modifications to this one at all as far as how it came out. So there it is. But I'll do a better view of this one in the future as far as the build there. But Greg Wann loaned me this kit, so this isn't my actual kit. He loaned this one to me, as I've had a couple of them, but I built that one and used another one for parts, and I didn't have an unbuilt kit. So thanks, Greg, for loaning me this, and he's the caster from Holy Grail Resins. But let's get into the contents here and go over some of this stuff. And everything's pretty much mounted on a tree, but starting with the body, here she is. You can see the GTX emblem, the rocker moldings that were added. All the rest of this is still the same. Nothing on the trunk still, no emblems, which would be correct. But they did add the trunk spoiler mounts there, and it still has the holes here, where when I was talking about this body, it's got the dimples there, but no actual mounts and no spoiler, but the holes are there. The rest of the underside is exactly the same. The engine compartment's exactly the same. Although on this one, they do have the Plymouth emblem inside there. For this one, there's nothing there, and there's a chrome insert that goes in there. But other than that, the body is completely the same. Same flat firewall and everything. So we'll set those aside. And then here on the trees, here's that air grabber hood. So that was added and comes in all the sequent issues. Glass chrome, exactly the same, and then the headlights and turn signals. That's in the other kit, but it's all loose, so I didn't show you all the little parts, because A lot of this is the same, so no real reason to keep showing you all the same stuff. The exhaust, and here's the one of the trees here. But here's the dash that has the GTX emblem added right there. That's the only change to that. All the rest of this is all the same. The only difference here is exhaust, the valance, all of this is the same from that tooling. Is now it has the tough steering wheel, which all the later kits have this tough steering wheel. They don't have the roadrunner steering wheel. So they changed out the steering wheel for this. And there's the valance panel with the exhaust cutouts. So all of that is mostly the same. Here's all the engine compartment. All of those pieces are the same. Here's the parts that were added. The underside of the air grabber, which is a nice touch. Here's that firewall insert that was not in the original, but in the later kits. The spoiler, the air grabber, the 6-pack intake, and the chin spoilers. And then here's the, you can flip it around. There's the wiper motor that actually goes right on here as well. So this section is all new, unless it was actually supposed to go with that and not done. And then the interior tub. The interior tub is different as far as the door cards and the panels back there. Still has the console and the automatic tranny, but as you can see between the two interiors, most of it is the same, but the door panels are different. This one's GTX and then this one's the Roadrunner satellite one. And this is the part that has not been redone. It was probably tooled into this and may or may not come back. But there's that part. The rest of this is the same. The seats and the chassis, that's all the same. There's a chrome tree. Pretty much the same. Like here's the chrome tree from the first one. Here's the second one. Basically this section was added. There's the 6-pack air cleaner and the 6-pack carburetors. The 4-barrel carburetor is missing. Along the emblem that goes here is actually what goes in that spot was the emblem. That's missing. The carburetor is missing. And then right here is where the air cleaner is. So here's the air cleaner. There's the emblem. And there's the carburetor. Those 3 items have been removed, but everything else is the same. And then the GTX emblem has been added. And then the same tires. This issue also has the steel belted Goodyear tires. And then the directions, of course, and the decals that, you know, this is the part that changes a little bit from car to car, later issues. There's a 6-pack. There's the one that goes around the nose emblem, the depression, air grabber, and 446 pack. Pretty nice decals, but the GTX emblem is only in red. So we'll put this one away and we'll move on to the next one. So now that brings us to this kit right here. This is the latest revision tool from Revell on this GTX. This, of course, is Dom's 71 Plymouth GTX, as it says on the box, from Fate of the Furious, the Fast and Furious 8 movie, and which I thought was great, having him driving something else other than a Charger. I like the fact that he drives Chargers, but some of them have gotten really ridiculous over the last few movies, some off-road variants. But he also drove a GTX in the brief appearance where he's basically just idling in Tokyo Drift, the Fast and Furious 3, where you would almost think that he's not even in the movie, but he makes a brief appearance at the very end. So for those of you who like trivia, the only movie he's not in is the second movie, Too Fast, Too Furious. He's in all the rest. So it's kind of funny following some of that stuff. But onto the car, Revell took basically that same GTX kit. And here's some of the stuff on the box. They talk about the movie car, which are a few of them. And, you know, some pictures of the box here. And the side shot here, and you can see some of the added parts to it. And then the 6-pack engine right here. Which, the movie, it's got 440 on the hood, but, you know, who knows what's really under the hood. I know one of the cars actually has a 383 in it, which pretty cool. But it's got a full cage and everything. But let's get into the box here. Now, most of it is exactly the same. This is the same body that you get in the other GTX kits. So we'll get back to that here in a second. Same tree here, all the same 6-pack and all the stuff here. You know, everything. There's nothing changed on this sheet, and it's still an automatic. So nothing changed on that sheet. Same with this one. Same tough wheel. All of the stuff that's in the GTX kit, the other kits, it's all still here. Nothing changed there. And here's the chassis and the seats again. Here's the stock wheels if you want to make the GTX. So, although they're plain, they don't have any lettering on them at all. And of course, the custom low profile wheels, the stock glass on all the lights exactly as it is. So, all of that is the same. Here's the newest tree right here, which has the brakes, a lowered front suspension, and the 4 wheels. I noticed a couple of things. Many people have said that the engraving is real shallow on one of the wheels. This one is. So paint can make some of the details disappear. But so since I want to make it like the movie car, I'll probably look for another set so I can get one more of this wheel and not the shallow engraved one. But and these brakes is kind of funny. If you know they're big brakes, these are 6-piston calipers, but you really don't see 6-piston front and rear. So all 4 calipers are 6-piston. Usually it's 6 in the front, 4 in the back. But still pretty cool, like that. And then here's kind of a familiar tree. There's the hood, and then the 4-barrel torquer intake manifold that we talked about that was in the opposite kit. So it has all of the stock parts there from both kits. So it has all the 6-pack stuff plus this. So that's from the satellite kit. So there's probably a section right here where they just cut this off. But lacking is the air grabber hood. So if you wanted to make the GTX with the 6-pack air grabber, which I believe all of the 6-packs should have the air grabber, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I'm pretty sure if you got a Hemi or the 446-pack for the 71 GTX, it came with the air grabber. But pretty cool that these parts are now included in this kit, but they weren't before. And then when you get to the chrome tree, which I haven't taken out of the bag here, but you got your GTX emblem in the front grille here, but you have that 4-barrel intake, the 4-barrel carburetor, the insert that goes in the body for the front emblem on the header, then the 6-pack stuff. So they put those pieces back on the tree or unblocked them, so that stuff is back in. So from the other kit, the only thing that you really don't have is the intake, but you have the GTX body. And then last, the instructions and the really nice decal sheet, which they give you all these emblems right here, which is cool, plus the gauges, the Willwood calipers that go on there, and all the hood stuff right from the movie, which is pretty cool. But since they got the black lines in them, they're really only meant to be used with black paint. So if you wanted to paint it a different color, these decals, you can still use them, but just keep that in mind that those are black. And then these GTX emblems that they use, the movie car uses them, and it's got the 71 emblems here, but there's a couple of things with that, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So if you want to accurately make the movie car, which I want to do, there's a couple of things we got to talk about. But here is a resin kit from K7. So if the movie car is actually a 72 GTX, not a 71. So here's a resin 72 bumper, which is pretty much mastered. I don't know the details, but it looks exactly like the MPC one, but stretched and made to fit this 124 scale body. It comes with the clear red taillights that are correct, and a new valance panel that fits that bumper and fits the exhaust that you actually get with this kit. But the movie car has different exhaust depending on which one you actually look at. But in the movie, you can plainly see it's got 2 rectangle exhaust tips on both sides that really mimic the Challenger exhaust tips, the RT Challenger ones, which I think I want to do the movie car as much as I can, and I want to make that accurate there and go black. And you also get all 4 side marker lights, because those are different between a 71 and 72. And then he does include the front bumper, which is correct for 72, GTX roadrunner, and you can clean it up and paint it. I have not cleaned these off. But he sells this kit for $25, and it's $15 to ship to the US. Now, he doesn't have any kind of website, and this is actually in French, so it's kind of funny. This is all in French. But he's in Canada, in Quebec, Canada. And I'll put a link to his name and on Facebook, the resin chat board that he's on, or the not chat board, but group that he's on, which is how I found him, so that you can get in touch with him and order these. More and more resin casters seem to be going to Facebook pages, which is kind of interesting, and not having websites. So I'm finding more that way. So he sells this kit to update it, which is meant more as a 72 GTX or roadrunner. And he recommends the Model Car Garage photo etch set for the 71 to put the grill insert in there. But I got this from him, and I plan on using it. Now, a couple of tips or pointers. If you look at the movie car cars, because there's more than one, but the movie car, there's a couple of things. They actually do use the 71 grill in that car. So use this bumper, this grill, black it all out, and then just pick out the chrome on the emblem. So you can use this bumper, but this rear bumper is not correct as far as depicted in the movie. And you got the stock wheels too, but don't really need those. Now also, I think you can probably just put those right on top of these, or fill them in. I'll probably fill them in and then glue those pretty much right on top. The movie car, it appears that this emblem is actually a little bit higher up here. So you might want to sand this off and then use the decal that's provided, because it seems to be a little bit more in the middle here when I was really looking at the movie car decals. So sand that off and move that up a little bit. Also, the movie car does not use these rocker moldings, so sand those off also. And the wheel opening moldings, it doesn't really use. You can sand them. They're kind of faint, so you can probably leave them behind. And then the molding here is not foiled. It's just the front and rear moldings. And it has the wing on it, no emblem on the back, and that stuff. And it also has hood pins, so you have to add hood pins, which I don't believe this hood has any hood pins on them. No hood pins. So you'll have to add hood pins. There is a scene or two where they pop the hood and they're showing you the engine. Forgot to look at that to see if it was what motor was actually in it. But I'm just going to use the big block as depicted. But I'm not sure if I'm going to go with the 6-pack or go with the 4-barrel. So I'm just kind of have a little bit of fun with that. Also, one other thing with the wheels here. These are open, and I don't see anywhere where there's an insert to go in there, or if the peg on here is meant to be painted the same color as a wheel and it mounts flush to hide that. So I'm not really sure if I need to scratch build little caps to fill in the hub center, or if the pins here actually line up and cover it. So I haven't noticed that either, but I'll be looking into that. But that pretty much is it for this one and all the stuff in it. And modify the exhaust a little bit. But from what I've seen of the cars, and you see the interiors are completely custom, roll cage and all kinds of stuff. So I want to make the outside as accurate to the movie car as possible myself, with the exhaust and the wheels, and taking the moldings off and using the decals. So, and that's why I got this. But don't know when I'll actually build this one, but that's where I'm at with this one. And comparing and telling you the history of all the other versions of it. So I appreciate you tuning in and watching and subscribing and all your comments. I really do appreciate it. And I hope this was informative and let you know about the differences and all the variations of this tooling and how far back it actually goes. I think it's kind of interesting that it's virtually 40 years old. Just a few more years and it'll be a 40-year-old tooling. Doesn't seem like that, because I remember the 94 issue coming out, and I didn't know about the satellite issue until years later. But thank you for tuning in and watching, and you guys, you have a wonderful Saturday, and I will see you again next weekend.